Welcome, horror fans. Today we're diving into the depths of darkness with a review of the horror movie Polaroid. This film promised chills, thrills, and a cursed camera, but did it deliver? Let's find out. I'm going to do a quick movie synopsis. Now, there is not actually really many spoilers in this part, so if you haven't seen it, don't worry. So Polaroid follows a young woman named Bird who stumbles upon an antique Polaroid camera with a sinister secret. As she and her friend start snapping pictures, they soon realize that the camera is more than just a vintage gadget. It's a portal to a deadly curse. Alright, and now some minor spoiler warnings here. If you don't want to know what the scares are, go ahead and click off now. But we are going to be going over visual and sound. Now, the visuals in Polaroid are definitely a strong point. It has a very dark and gritty atmosphere and very eerie cinematography. There are some moments with the camera where I was really impressed with what they did, and I was just like, wow, that's awesome. And they use the cinematography to create a tense and very unsettling vibe. I did find, however, that the jump scares were very overused and very predictable. This suffered very hard from it being overused and predictable. There were times in here where you were just able to go, oh, they're dead. There was no point in even thinking. It was just oh, they're dead. And yeah, overall though, I did feel that the movie itself, for visuals, was pretty on point. The main bad guy thing was really cool looking. Had a very unique look. Kind of looked like a ghost zombie thing. It was really cool. Now let's really quick go into some of the executions of the idea. So, well, the idea of a cursed Polaroid camera is a pretty intriguing idea. The execution did feel a bit generic. I personally have seen a lot of similar plots to this, and Polaroid really didn't bring anything groundbreaking or different to the table. It kind of just kept reusing the same thing I had seen previously. And it reminded me a lot of The Rings, to be honest. There were definitely some points in this where I was thinking Rings. I was also thinking Truth or Dare. There's definitely some, big moments that you're just oh, wow, they must have, borrowed this a little. And while I did enjoy the film, and even the plot and everything, I just thought it wasn't really groundbreaking, and I've seen this, a billion times in horror films, but that's okay. Let's move on to some of the acting and the characters more. Alright, so acting and characters. The acting was actually pretty decent, but the characters weren't very developed except for your main character, Bird. Now, I do want to give a little bit of a shout out here to Bird because the main character, Bird, was really interesting for me. I don't know what it was. I think it was the whole mystery of her dad that kept me very intrigued the whole film. And I really like that. It definitely was a very satisfying main character. And I gotta say, whoever wrote the story, props to you, because that main character worked. Only thing I'd say work on is developing your other characters a lot more. I always see this in a lot of horror films where they only develop one character, and you only care about the one character. So every other character that ends up, dying or whatever, you just didn't care about, so it doesn't matter. And I don't think this should be the case. I think you should care about all. It's one of the things that makes the It movies very strong, is that you actually get a ton of story on all of the characters. And even there are some points in the Saw franchise where you get a lot of backstory for side characters. And it makes you care about those characters a lot more. I think this is definitely a place, please work on it. And I would love to see more movies in the Polaroid franchise. It probably won't happen, but I would love to see it because it was a really unique idea. But yeah, that being said, a lot of the characters were very one-dimensional, but the main character, Bird, did kind of stand out to me. However, she still was kind of your typical horror movie protagonist, brave, resourceful, and determined to save her friends. But all of the supporting cast, every single one, just felt like an archetype rather than a fully developed character. And I think this made it suffer quite a bit. You do lose a lot of love you have for characters once they start feeling like archetypes, because you're just kind of like, oh, you're the dumb jock. Oh, you know, you're you're the blonde that's gonna get chased later. Like it's just it's one of those things. Um, but overall, Bird's development really good. The rest of it kind of just meh, but that's okay. Now let's hop into like my overall rating and thoughts of this film. All right, so Polaroid is a decent horror flick. It will give you definitely a few jump scares and keep you entertained for a while. However, most of the beginning of the movie I found to be a little boring. The ending is where it started picking up, and I did enjoy it quite a bit after that. I do think this is a very decent horror film, especially if you're like looking for a good horror film for like a slumber party or just stuff like that. It would work really well. Or if you're a photographer, this movie will definitely probably stand out to you. And the model of camera they use in the film is a real camera. I did look it up because I was curious. And it is fully a real Polaroid. So, yeah. I do think the thought of this movie was pretty fun because, like, all of, like, everyone nowadays are collecting, like, Polaroids and all of these things. Heck, I even have a Polaroid camera right here. Like, but the thought of it was definitely there. It was really cool. However, if you're looking for like a truly terrifying and original film, you might want to look elsewhere. I'd give it honestly a 6 out of 10 for its atmosphere, and it does have some decent scares, but it lacks a lot on the depth and originality of it, which is unfortunate because like this movie had a lot of potential. Now, let me know what you guys think down below. Have you seen Polaroid? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification for more horror movie reviews. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Evo, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, and have a great rest of everyone's day. Bye, guys!